Okay, let's dive right in. We're about to talk about a massive shift happening in the defense sector. And for sales teams, this isn't just another opportunity, it's a potential gold rush. So let's break down exactly what's going on and how you can build the perfect team to really capitalize on it.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if you could tell your sales team that their next market isn't a choice for customers? For literally thousands of businesses, this new cybersecurity certification, it's not optional. It is the absolute price of entry for every single Department of Defense contract. This isn't about persuasion anymore. It's all about preparation and partnership.
And look, this isn't some far-off thing. The clock is ticking, and it's ticking loudly. The final rule dropped on September 10th, 2025. Just 60 days after that, on November 10th, boom, CMMC requirements are live in new contracts. And by the first quarter of 2026, assessments are going to be in full swing. The race for compliance is on, and for anyone who can help these companies, well, the starting gun already fired.
To really get the scale of this, just look at this number. Let that sink in for a second. That's how much the DoD awarded in federal contracts to small businesses in fiscal year 2023 alone. Pretty soon, every single one of those dollars is going to be locked behind this new compliance gate. We are talking about an absolutely enormous mandatory market.
All right, so what exactly is CMMC? It stands for the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification. You can think of it as the DoD's new security gatekeeper. Its entire job is to make sure that anyone handling sensitive information, what's known as Controlled Unclassified Information, or CUI, is protecting it the right way. If you are in the defense supply chain in any way, shape, or form, certification is not optional. It is mandatory, period.
So this brings us to what I call the compliance maze. And here's the interesting part. The complexity is where the opportunity really lies.
You know, one of the first places people get tripped up is just trying to understand the key players. There are two critical roles you have to know, the RPO and the C3PAO. The RPO, that's the Registered Provider Organization, is your consultant. They're like the coach who gets you ready for the big game. Then you have the C3PAO. They're the official auditor, the referee. They conduct the final objective assessment. And here is the most important part. They cannot be the same company for the same client. It's a huge conflict of interest.
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the client's biggest pain point. See, it's not enough to just install the right software. It's about having perfect, meticulous documentation, things like a system security plan that proves you're compliant. You could have the best tech in the world, but if your paperwork isn't right, you fail. That's a huge source of anxiety for these companies.
So, how does all this pressure, all this complexity, affect the way you sell? Well, it pretty much breaks the traditional model. A problem this complex needs a single, trusted guide, not a messy relay race. We've all seen this playbook, right? You've got an SDR who qualifies an inbound lead. You've got a BDR doing cold outreach. Then they toss it over the fence to an account executive to run the demo and close the deal. And look, for a simple product, maybe that works. But for something like a CMMC sale, which demands deep trust and ongoing consultation, this model is just way too fragmented. It falls apart.
And what's the result of all those handoffs? It's a mess. You get friction. The client has to explain their situation over and over and over again. Important details get lost. Trust starts to erode. And that critical consultative relationship, it never even gets a chance to form. What you're left with is a broken buying experience and, you guessed it, stalled and lost deals.
So, this challenge demands a totally new kind of salesperson. A new model for a new market. Let's talk about the hybrid hunter. One journey, one guide.
And the answer to this is what the tech solutions provider SteelToad calls the collaborative competitor. It's a really cool archetype. This is a hybrid role. It blends that relentless drive of a classic hunter salesperson with the people-first, collaborative approach of a true consultant. Their mission isn't just to sell something, it's to actually guide clients through this incredibly complex journey with real expertise and integrity.
And look, this isn't just some high-level theory. It's a practical blueprint for a new kind of sales team. This model takes all those different functions, prospecting, deep technical consulting, closing the deal, and blends them into one single seamless role.
So, what does this person actually do day to day? Well, they own the full sales cycle, from start to finish. They're combining that outbound prospecting with closing. They act as that trusted consultant on CMMC, building real relationships with multiple people at the company. They manage the entire pipeline. The bottom line is, they don't just book meetings or close deals.
They own the entire client journey. Okay, so maybe you're sold on the model. You see the value. But how do you actually build this team? Well, this is your new sales playbook. This is how you hire for this game-changing hybrid role. This is where the rubber meets the road. This matrix shows you the 5 core things you absolutely have to hire for. First, you need traditional sales acumen, that relentless outbound prospecting skill. Then you need market intelligence, specifically someone who knows how to navigate those complex government portals. You also need technical aptitude so they can actually have a literate, meaningful conversation about cybersecurity. And then crucially, you need the right cultural fit, someone with what we're calling collaborative integrity and the self-management skills to crush it in a remote setting.
And this really shows you how it all comes together in practice. Think of it in 4 steps. Step 1, hunt and prospect, just like a BDR. Step 2, consult and qualify, where they act as that trusted guide. Step 3, manage and close, handling the entire sales cycle like an AE. And finally, Step 4, grow and expand, making sure there's a smooth handoff and spotting those upsell opportunities. It literally takes 4 separate jobs and integrates them into one super powerful client-focused role.
So let's wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway here? It's this. To win in a mandatory, high-stakes market like CMMC, you just can't rely on an old, fragmented sales model. You have to build a team of trusted consultants who can guide clients, not just close them. And that strategic shift in how you build your team, that is your single biggest competitive advantage in this space.
So it all comes down to this. The $178 billion CMMC market isn't coming. It's already here. And it's going to belong to the sales teams who are willing to adapt their model to meet this moment. The only question left is, are you and your team built to be the hunters?